Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching today's Ag Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions, your premier platform for real-time global insights. Well, I thought I'd start with this video by taking us out west. We're going to go here to Mount Rainier and look at a place called Paradise, Washington. And here we are at the Jackson Visitor Center, and what I want to show you here is this place so far has had 353 inches of snow. They're halfway through their snow year. And by the way, that is 29 feet of snow. It's incredible to see how much snow is piling up there. And the reason why I wanted to start off here is because I want to show you some brand new imagery. So we launched last year a new satellite called GOES-17, and it just finally went fully operational just yesterday. And so this is the latest view we've gotten. We're looking here at water vapor. Now, why I want to really stress this image is because we talked last time about the Pineapple Express. This is this flow from Hawaii just pumping moisture into the west coast of the United States. Now, there's been a bit of a change in the flow pattern since my last video. And what we're really seeing here is that the trough in the jet stream we've been talking about so much out west, we've really seen it elongate and flatten across the United States. And that's going to change our storm track. So it's going to be a little bit different what we talked about before. Now, we always have to watch out for these atmospheric rivers. That's what we call them, these atmospheric rivers of moisture. The one we have to watch on the west coast, right here, the Pineapple Express. Throughout the growing season, in the middle part of the country, in fall, we have to watch out for what's called the Maya Express, which comes up just like this. But right now, it's not the Maya, it's all about the Pineapple Express. So this is what I really want us to stress. There are two regions across the country I'm very concerned about, all right? Got the last 30 days of precipitation looking at a departure from normal. So now we're looking at inches. We see that California has already been very wet for the last 30 days. Now remember, going into this, they were very, very dry, and we've just packed in the mountain snow. In fact, right now, the Sierra Nevada reporting stations are all well above 100%. In fact, all of the snow reporting stations out west, even in Oregon, which are still struggling a bit, still look really, really good. So we're going to be putting in a whole lot more precipitation into California. My concern there is flooding, landslides, mudslides, and huge snowfall amounts in the mountains. Okay, the other area is right in through here. Now, we've been talking about the flooding that's already going on, where the Ohio River meets the Mississippi River, going into parts of Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, even going back into Ohio and Indiana. And the flooding threat right there has got me concerned because we've been watching this area for our river gauges, and we see many of them, 155 gauges right now in some sort of flood stage, and we're going to be adding a whole lot more moisture to this. Now, let me show you a little bit different view. I often don't take you clear up deep into the jet stream level showing you those winds because we can get a lot of the information we need at about the 500 millibar level, but I really want you to see this with me, okay? Now, as I play this forward, what I want you to see is that by the time we get into the end of our weekend, look at what the flow of the jet stream is doing. We have this broad trough feature. So see, it goes up here into Alaska, the ridge does, and then the trough flattens out into very zonal flow. Now, why this is important? Okay, big curves in the flow of the jet stream give us these large low pressure systems that race across the country. When the jet stream flattens out, it is underneath the jet stream where we have our strongest temperature gradient. That is where we're going to be having our greatest lift in the atmosphere, and that is where we have the potential for the most precipitation. Also, long waves. Now, you often hear we talk about short waves versus long waves. Well, this is a long wave. Long waves in the jet stream tend to persist and retrograde, which means they move back west or stay still. Now, my concern is with this long wave setting up, we get into a cool pattern tucked into the middle here. So certainly cool in this area. But where we see that stretching like this, just know we're going to be pumping plenty of Gulf moisture repeatedly over this area, soaking it, meanwhile bringing in that stronger onshore flow into California. That's where this flood threat is going to be. And look at this. I'll just leave my drawings on there. This is valid through Saturday night into Sunday, Monday. Look, we just don't see that jet stream really breaking away from that pattern. Look how long the wave is. I mean, it is huge. And as a result, as we even work our way here deep into next week, we're not getting rid of that pattern. Okay. How do we interpret what this means in terms of the flow of moisture in the atmosphere? Well, let's just watch an animation here of precipitable water anomaly. So this tells us how much moisture is in the atmosphere. You can already see the Pineapple Express taking shape. But what we will see is after that jet stream really broadens out in through here, flow coming out of the Gulf, hammering this area, while it will get drier in this area. You ready? I'm just going to play this forward. Now look at the repeated reds you see showing up there, kind of coming out of the Gulf, hitting, again, Kentucky, Tennessee, all the way down into the southeast. That is the new risk spot that we got to just be paying very close attention to. Now let's take a look at the short-term high-resolution stuff first. We're going to start off here with the NAM. We're going to watch one system here moving through the Great Lakes. We're going to watch a short wave emerge right here, kind of getting off the mountains, and it's going to spread light snow in through this area, maybe even all the way over to the East Coast with a little bit of a freezing rain threat south of that and then rain south of there. You'll see continual strong onshore flow out west, but that's our setup as we get into the weekend. Let's play it out here. Okay, first, I've got you through about 10 a.m. on Thursday, so Valentine's Day here. Look at the first low pressure system taking shape over Lake Michigan. So this is going to be bringing more snow to Wisconsin, which just got a lot of snow, and also the UP of Michigan, and maybe some mixed precipitation in there in parts of the lower part of Michigan. Meanwhile, the next big wave comes through the mountains. And this is, again, moisture from the Pineapple Express. Now look, big area of high pressure sitting here, but in the upper levels, a short wave emerges, a first one, and that is going to help initiate the development of basically a broad shield of precipitation. So as we get into the overnight hours on Thursday into early Friday morning, we're going to see snow stretching from Montana into parts of Wyoming, but certainly to South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas. Now to the south of that, we're going to be overrunning some warm air, so that by Friday morning, we could be seeing a mixture of sleet and freezing rain in southern Kansas and parts of Oklahoma. Now watch, as we progress through, we're bringing quite a bit of snow, I think, into parts of Kansas, maybe over into Missouri, with some freezing rain to the south of it. Now this is midday Friday. Snow for southern Illinois, mixed precipitation in southern Missouri, Kentucky, all south of that is rain. Now, why do we not see a low pressure system? Remember, the wave is flattening out. That doesn't give us great upper level dynamics to make a sharply defined low. Instead, it just kind of spreads this broad shield of precipitation. Friday night, look at it progressing through parts of Tennessee, Kentucky. And then as we get over to the East Coast, we're now talking maybe a snow threat through parts of the higher elevations in the Appalachian Mountains, and then maybe something getting over there toward maybe Washington, D.C. area. But if we put it all together, now we're not going to use this map to kind of understand snow that's out west. We're instead just going to look at the snow swath you see in through here that gets us out to 7 a.m. on Saturday. And it appears that through parts of Nebraska and getting right into this region in Kansas, stretching all the way over into the southern parts of Missouri, we may be picking up, especially right in through there, anywhere between 4 and 6 inches of snow. And as we progress through Missouri, maybe 3 to 5. Looks as though this system's going to lose a lot of its energy as it gets over toward the East Coast, though. So that's the short term. Now, look at total precipitation. Now, this is liquid equivalent. This is the beginning of the very heavy rain that we're putting down into this area. And that's something we have got to talk about. Because when you stretch this out over the next 10 days, we have very strong ensemble agreement that this area is going to see major positive precipitation anomalies, as is the West Coast United States. In fact, if we just look at the operational run that came out, this is a 0Z run, so I stayed up to about 2 o'clock to wait for this sucker to come in. Look at the rainfall amounts we're going to be seeing just through the next 7 days. We see widespread 2 to 4 inches right in through this area. Now, thankfully, it's a little south and east of where the heavy rain has been, which was in here. But still, we're putting all that rain down in Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, and all the way over to the Carolinas. So this is some very heavy rainfall that's coming up. Now, let's break it down at least over the next 8 days or so, looking at the European model, the operational at least. So you've seen up to this point, this is where the shortwave has emerged. We're getting that snow in through this area, potential for some mix right in through here, and then rain to the south of it. So this is getting you through Friday evening. As we progress through the start of the weekend, look, the system progresses over toward the southeast. Now, our next wave comes on shore, but because the flow, remember, it was really elongated, like that's how our long wave is, we don't have the upper level support to turn this into a big low pressure system. So what do we see instead? A broad area of ascent right in through here. Where there's enough cold air, we're going to be getting some light snow out of this, mixed bag again right through that same area, and rain to the south. So that's what happens when you don't have these sharply defined short waves to really initiate a big low pressure system. But again, broad snow here through the upper northern plains, through northern Illinois, getting into parts of the Ohio River Valley. Now watch. Once I get you past Monday, watch the pump of moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. There it is. By Tuesday into Wednesday and Thursday of next week. And that again is just that big broad trough Got a big ridge sitting over here, and we're just going to pump moisture into this area, and that's why I'm concerned about the flood threat down there. So this is a very important kind of forecast. Be paying attention for that flood threat. Just to show you the European model, what it's picking up on snowfall, this takes you out again through about a week. Remember, this is going to be the broader area of snow that we're watching. We got this region right in through here, looking at maybe 4 to 6 inches of snow, especially getting into parts of Kansas and Nebraska and through there. The snowfall amounts out west, though, are again epic. I mean, we might see piling up in the Sierra Nevada mountains another 6+ feet of snow, and we're going to be even seeing bigger snowfall amounts. It's tucked away deep in that trough, getting through much of the Rocky Mountains. So we're going to keep adding to those snow numbers. Now, we're just going to play this quickly, because what I want to do is I just want to assess to see if the pattern is going to change. Ready? And we see the dominance of that ridge over parts of Alaska, keeping the trough kind of in place as we progress all the way through the end of the month of February. We do wash out a little bit here as we get into the final few days of the month of February, but overall, it seems that we kind of just maintain this pattern. And we'll have to watch carefully once March gets here, because the long-range models right now want to keep March cool, but I think we're in for some change. I think this ridge you see right here is going to push onshore over the west coast, and that's going to change quite a few things if it does. We'll have to keep a close eye on it. But watch what temperatures do. I'm going to kind of play this one slowly for us, because what you're going to see is we got the warm-up ahead of the system moving through at the end of the week. So the eastern part of the United States see some warmer temperatures. But after that system pushes through and the trough becomes established, you got some cooler weather settling in for much of the middle part of the country for Friday and Saturday. But again, we have that next system emerging on Monday, Tuesday. See it? That'll bring some warmth out ahead of it. But again, we really keep the colder air trapped inside that broader trough. And that's why overall, as we even progress into, the 24th, 25th, we're out here past day 10, we just try to keep the colder air tucked in here and the warmer air tucked over the southeast. That's just the pattern that we're stuck in right now. Okay, I wanted you to look at Brazil, so keep a close eye on what's going on right here. Told you that the monsoon would get going again, and it certainly has, and that's really interesting because it's the convection over here, the storms over in that area, that are helping support upper level divergence over much of Brazil. So as we look out forward here, we see that there's going to be continuing a wetter pattern in through this area. Now remember, we're harvesting the first crop beans. Yields have been dropped. We've heard CONAB take it down to 115 million metric ton in production. As we go again, like we've been talking about, over here into phases 8, 1, and 2 with the MJO, that is supportive of more Brazilian rain with drier conditions down in Argentina, but they would welcome some drier conditions down here in Argentina. And to finish this video up, I want to take you quickly to Australia. Remember I told you we had that colder air that was coming in here? So the cold air again advances to the north in this case. Well, this is the cold front that pushed through. Behind it, some very, very dry air. So we're talking about cotton and wheat over here, same in this area being impacted. But we saw a pretty interesting thing. Now remember, this area saw in some locations 16 inches of rain 2 weeks ago. And what just happened? Well, can you see the dust right in through here? On the leading edge of that front, we had actually a pretty sizable dust storm that blew through parts of Australia. So Australia's had a very, very tumultuous summer here. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this forecast video. We at Nutrien Ag Solutions hope you look forward to our next ag forecast coming out on Monday morning. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you then. Thank you.